The Conqueror from 1956. The objectively worst film ever made. I kind of do not believe that because the Emoji Movie exists and Cuties, so it can't be the worst movie. Like it must be worse than Cuties, or it must be worse than Cuties. If it's not worse than Cuties, then it cannot be the worst movie. It cannot be. It's like pure Kino. We'll see. We'll see what this is about. Also, please consider liking and subscribing. I appreciate it. Every little bit of support helps immensely. I don't know what to expect here.
When people talk about the worst movies ever made, there are a number of titles commonly thrown around. Plan 9 from Outer Space, The Room, Star Wars The Last Jedi, and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker.
Real, but they're not the worst. Epic movie, disaster movie are terrible. I mean, like, see, there's like a difference, right? One movie is terrible on, like, these movies are terrible. Let's say these. I'm gonna be honest. These movies are terrible on purpose, right? I mean, like movies with a intent, and like movies that actually take themselves seriously, right? Right, movies that genuinely do take themselves seriously. Reason being, for example, Cuties. Cuties took itself seriously because its intent was to essentially be against the sexualization of children. But it sexualized children even more. That's why it is definitely considered one of the worst movies ever made. If somebody has this movie, consider checking their hard drive. It's that simple. What about Son of Godzilla? It couldn't be that bad in a million years, right? I genuinely think this is the worst movie ever made because it hits the wrong target. It hits the target audience you don't want to hit with this movie. That's just the truth.
And Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, and damn,
that's very Reddit coded. Like it's not that bad. Like it's a boring movie, but it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie in the sense that, like, you can say about the prequels whatever you want, but they did a lot for the franchise in expanding the lore and story. It's just like Clone Wars also did a lot that people don't want to admit. That's just me though.
Are any of these movies ever good?
I hate them.
But as bad as these movies are, there is one that is objectively worse. A movie whose very production could almost be said to be cursed. After all, its creation resulted in dozens of deaths, and drove its creator to madness like some kind of Lovecraftian grim.
You cannot wait, actually, that'd be funny. Pocus, stop acting like the prequels are good. They're not as bad as people make them out to be. I agree. Out of all of those, the second one is definitely the worst out of all of them. Is it as bad as the sequels? Nah, but they're not as bad as people make them out to be. I think people are over-exaggerating, and this is mostly just people who are insane unks, or people who have been heavily influenced by others. Is it really your opinion of the prequel movies, or are you just using the words of others? That's it. I can describe how lame Israel is. It was yesterday in pro-Iran rally. We're like 40 people. Know how many went out for pro-Iran in Canada? Guess? Five whole people. That's my guess. I did not eat just sausage. It was a sausage salad, and it's art. It's art in food form.
Noir. The Conqueror is a 1956 epic historical film about the life of Genghis Khan.
Is that John Wayne? Is that John Wayne? Am I tripping? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Huh? What? Why? That's crazy. Oh, that's crazy.
It stars John Wayne in the title role of Temujin. Yeah, that's right. John Wayne the Cowboy as a Mongolian warlord. But horrible miscasting is only the tip of this iceberg. Beyond the bland dialogue and cardboard performances of the cast, the movie also had one of the most unfortunate productions of any movie ever made, and the effect it had on its mysterious producer is a story worth telling, unlike this film. So let's take a look back at what I consider to be the objectively worst film ever made.
It can't be that bad. It can't be that bad. It can't be that bad.
This is The Conqueror. The movie opens with the Merkit chief Targatai crossing the lands of the Mongols to bring home his new wife. The Mongol chief Temujin confronts him and is instantly attracted to the wife, a Tartar woman named Bortai. Temujin decides to steal her for himself and organizes a raid against the Merkits, despite his men's warning that the Merkits will seek revenge. Temujin and his men ambush the caravan, driving Targatai away and taking Bortai for his own.
This is just a bunch of American boobs, dudes. Oops, it's over, guys. I'm thinking too much about boobs. Anyways, this sounds so much like just American dudes LARPing as Asians. That's what it is. What are the chances they didn't hide a single person from Mongolia or even close to that region, even neighboring countries that look similar? What are the chances? What are we thinking?
His mother Hunlun despises Bortai, as her father killed Temujin's father many years ago. She warns Temujin to get rid of her, lest she bring woe to their people, but he refuses, as he wants to keep her for his wife. However, Bortai refuses Temujin, seeing him as a beast beneath a woman like her. She approaches Temujin's blood brother and right-hand man Jamika, offering herself to
Classic. Ho, ho, ho. Anyways.
Him if he will free her. He refuses to betray Temujin, but at that moment, the Merkits attack the camp. In the confusion, Temujin sees Jamika leaving Bortai's tent, sowing seeds of distrust in his mind. Temujin manages to escape the fighting along with Bortai. Hiding together from the Merkits, they make love. When they return to the camp the next
They make love. That didn't look like that. She did definitely not consent to that love. I'm pretty sure. I am pretty sure. I am certain. Our titties. Nope. I'm not if I ever get titties, I'm not sharing them. I'm not Destiny, Sneeko, Ludwig, or whoever is participating in the puck chair. We're not doing that. My titties.
Next day, his mother chastises him for letting a woman bring danger to the camp. Temujin again refuses to listen, and instead decides to seek help from his old ally, Wang Khan. His plan is to lie to Wang Khan and convince him that the Tartars and Merkits are conspiring.
Lord have mercy, looks so fucking dumb. This looks so fucking dumb. I don't see how this is the worst movie ever. It is literally just the average John Wayne movie. Of course, here and there it has like a banger, but like this is like really just the average John Wayne movie.
Against him. He and Bortai arrive at Wang Khan's city, who welcomes him with a feast and a display of dancing women. After the celebration,
I don't mind.
Temujin lies to him about the Tartar threat. Wang Khan consults with his shaman, who declares that the spirits say Temujin is truthful. Wang Khan agrees to unite against the Tartars. However, as Temujin is leaving, the shaman reveals that he lied because he wants Temujin to take over Wang Khan's kingdom after his death. On their return to their camp, Temujin is ambushed by the Tartars. Bortai manages to escape back to her people, leaving Temujin wounded in a cave. Jamika finds him and pretends.
Yeah, it's definitely. I don't feel like it's the worst one. Plot-wise, it's not particularly the worst one. Yeah. Worst is overrated. Yeah.
To defect so the Tartars will trust him enough in order for him to steal horses for their escape. However, they follow him back to Temujin's location, and end up capturing him. Temujin sees Jamaica escape, making him believe that he betrayed him. The Tartars bring Temujin back to their camp, torturing him and planning on executing him the next day. However, Bortai, now realizing her love for him, helps him escape.
You know, fun fact, common survival strategy for women back in the Dark Ages, getting backshots by their kidnapper and falling in love with their kidnapper and date and like being with their kidnapper, because what other choice do you have? Perfect survival strategy. Anyways. And you can really do anything. It doesn't matter. Where I have nothing to watch, I usually put on one of the 1000 Westerners he was in. Yep. Classic. There's like an entire section on Amazon Prime sometimes where they just have like movies by John Wayne. It's like a bajillion movies just like in one row. Crazy.
Returning back to his camp, Temujin accuses Jamaica of betrayal. In order to prove himself, he's sent along with Temujin's actual brother Kasar to Wang Khan's city in order to organize the attack on the Tartars. Arriving in the city, the shaman warns Wang Khan that Temujin plans on betraying him. He orders that Jamaica and Kasar be held captive, while he goes to investigate the Mongols' plan. Jamaica manages to escape their captivity, but Kasar is killed in the escape. Jamaica rides for the camp, but is captured by the Tartars. Temujin is at the meeting spot, awaiting Wang Khan's forces. The shaman arrives and tells him that Wang Khan has betrayed their agreement. He offers to unlock the city gates and allow Temujin to conquer the city. Temujin agrees, but is distrustful of the shaman. The shaman allows the Mongol forces through the gate, who take the city under their control.
Or just poked him death. Interesting. I actually did watch this last year, and I sent this video to you, but you didn't watch it. Yeah, I forgot. I didn't see that. That girl is pretty. Yeah, she is pretty. She is very beautiful. For sure. No wonder they wanted her.
With his dying breath, Wang Khan reveals the shaman's deception. Temujin cuts him down and claims Wang Khan's forces as his own. Together, they march on the Tartar camp. Temujin finally gets his revenge by killing the Tartar chief, and he and Bortai are reunited. She reassures Temujin that Jamaica never betrayed him, and only feels love for his blood brother. However, Jamaica says that the seeds of distrust can never be undone, and asks that Temujin kill him and let him die with honor. Temujin reluctantly agrees. As the movie ends, Jamaica narrates that with all his enemies defeated, Temujin assumed the title of Chinggis Khan and conquered the land with Bortai by his side.
That makes it oddly romantic, but we know what my boy did. We know that what my boy did. He was given backshots to plenty of women. Yeah, interesting. So what makes this movie so bad in particular, except like the castings? I'm still like looking for it.
There's so much wrong with this film, I don't even know where to begin. The elephant in the room is of course the casting. While I'll give the film leeway, as casting white actors in non-white roles wasn't as controversial then as it is today, even with that in mind, Wayne is horribly out of place as the Great Mongol Chief. Now, John Wayne is a good, if not slightly limited actor. He shines in a certain role, the gruff cowboy, the stern gunslinger, and while the role of the brutish conqueror might seem like something that suits him, he sounds ridiculous delivering lines like this.
Where is your faith, my brother? I was to bring under my standard all the tribes of the Gobi. None would dare stand against me. Was not that once your dream for me, Jamuga? And still is.
I'm not saying the blame is entirely on him, as the entire cast gives a cardboard performance. Much of it has to do with the dialogue. These lines are trying to sound vaguely 13th century, but when combined with the cowboy accent, it just comes off as awkward.
Spirits of heaven, Yes, a guy, my father, do not desert me in this fateful hour. Let not treachery prevail.
I also have to say still, and here's I think that's one of the major problems. It's just me or the vid host talking like at 0.5 speed. so another problem is that it still looks westerner. Like it still has westerner energy. I'm sorry. Like it still looks like a western. I'm sorry. It just does. It just does, and that's a problem. It does, but I kind of like it. I guess, yeah.
The only actor who comes close to a good performance is Agnes Moorehead, who plays Temujin's mother Hunlun. She's not on camera for long, but she was clearly having fun with the role.
She is the daughter of Kumlik.
Kumlik's daughter. Spawn of evil. Let your slaves have their sport with her. I will not have her within our tents.
I say who stays in our...
She's very okay, yeah, she was interested in doing it. Definitely. He emphasizes every word. I can hear the passion in his voice. He talks in a similar way that who's it called? Think Before You Sleep does a similar one, I think. I think that's similar.
Tents. This woman is for my pleasure.
You will take pleasure with the offspring of your father's slayer? She will bring woe.
To summarize, you're gonna fuck the child of your father's murderer? And he's like, yes. Yes, I will. And there's nothing you can do about it. And many more.
To you, my son, and to your people.
The story is also atrocious for many reasons. For starters, it isn't even close to historically accurate. The real story of Temujin's life, or at least the one we know from the secret history of the Mongols, is so interesting it could be a movie on its own. And it's clear the writers at least had some idea of history, as they get the names mostly right. But they change so many details for no reason. In real life, Jamiko was blood brother to Temujin, but he wasn't the doting manservant he's portrayed as in the movie. In actuality, he was Temujin's superior by birth, and in time, they developed a rivalry that ended in war. It's honestly an epic story about brothers turning into enemies, and it would make for a damn good film. But instead, Jamika is devoted to serving Temujin for seemingly no reason. I mean, he says there's something about
yeah, so John Wayne can continue aura farming. You need to realize John Wayne must continue aura farming. That's all he does. You play in Life of Brain. She sounds like Judith. I have no idea.
Temujin that makes men want to follow him or something, but we never actually see it. In fact, it's just the opposite in this movie. The movie portrays Temujin as a complete jackass. He endangers his tribe by recklessly attacking the Merkits in order to steal some woman for himself, and then has the gall to accuse his men.
Guys, it is a simple case of what pussy does to a motherfucker is way worse. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. What, you start beef with others because you just want a woman? I mean, I understand, like, I get it, but, like, really? You start a beef just to get a woman? Nah.
And a failure in stopping the counterattack. He complains that he's beset by traitors when he himself lied to his benefactor Wang Khan and tried to trick him into going to war for his own benefit. This is all in complete disregard to the real Temujin, who dedicated himself to protecting his people. Why the hell would anyone want to follow this tool? I'd almost say the movie is trying to criticize Temujin and show that he was a terrible person, if it wasn't for the fact that they show Bortai falling in love with him. From her reaction, we get the sense that there's something to love and admire in Temujin, but her sudden feelings for Temujin come out of nowhere, and are a complete contradiction to how he has treated her throughout the entire film. What exactly?
He's like, kidnap her, and she's like, no, and then later she's like, yes, yes, give me your schlong now, give me to it now. Yes, I'll have your children. Crazy work. People start beef for much less. I know, but like, bro, with looking at how many influencers, social media people have been recently getting cheated and dumped. There's no point. There's no point for it. Unless these women were like a lot better than the women now, I guess.
Exactly is she supposed to love about this guy? The way he hits her? I mean, I know it was the 50s and women were expected to just swoon when a big tough guy grabs them, but even as a so-called conqueror, Temujin is lacking. The first time they make love, it's after Temujin runs away from the enemy, something she mocked her first husband for.
For much less, my father would have slain him.
The thought came to me,
But you feared the Mongol dog.
He's constantly falling into traps and is completely out of touch with the situation around him. It makes her sudden love for him contradict her character and make.
That's because he is essentially playing John Wayne. He is playing like a Western in a Mongolian movie. In like a Mongolian times. In like a Mongolian place. That's the problem. It's just like, basically you took the idea of like Genghis Khan and you put over a Westerner, and that's what is happening. That's it. That's it. That's literally it. Did you know you wanted to have so much children? We sure discover new things every day. Stop projecting your baby fever onto me.
No sense. And speaking of making no sense, what the hell is up with that ending? Jamaica has been a loyal servant of Temujin the entire movie, and even though Bortai confirms that he's never even thought about betraying Temujin, for some reason he has to die? His reasoning that doubt would creep into Temujin's thoughts makes no sense, as there's no one left for him to betray Temujin to, even if he wanted to. I think the writers were hoping his death would give the ending a sense of sadness, like Temujin's victory came at the cost of a friend. But the problem is we aren't invested into this conflict because the character is flat and boring. Instead, the scene just serves to confuse the audience and slow the climax down for no reason. Now, all of that would be enough to call any movie terrible. But the problem is this film.
For now, I don't see anything that beats Cuties. For now, I don't see anything that beats Cuties, or even the Emoji Movie.
Has go beyond just what's on the screen. The film also had one of the most unfortunate productions of any movie ever made, and the decision to film there would result in an untold number of deaths. The film was primarily shot near St. George, Utah, which is downwind of the United States nuclear test site in Nevada. In fact, only 3 years earlier.
So, you filmed this in radioactive territory. Are we sure that the movie has anything to do with the guy going crazy, the director going crazy, or, is it the radioactive fallout there? Hold up, wait a minute, what choice?
Earlier, 11 nuclear weapons had been tested in the area, which allowed radioactive fallout to be dispersed and carried downwind to the filming site. Of the 220 members of the crew, 91 developed cancer, and at least 46 died from it.
That's fucking diabolical. Or Cats movie? Yeah. Okay, never mind. That movie has quite a high kill count.
This included Wayne himself, who developed lung and stomach cancer, eventually dying from the latter. Pedro Armando.
So this movie was so this movie was so dog shit, bro died. Bro vanquished. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Would end up committing suicide after a terminal diagnosis of cancer in 1963, and Agnes Moorehead, Susan Hayward, and director Dick Powell would all die from cancer as well. Even Wayne's sons, Michael and Patrick, who only visited the set, developed cancer, and the true number of cases is suspected to be even higher than what was reported.
That's crazy. Who thought that was a good idea? I mean, they didn't probably know as much as they do now, but who thought that was a good idea? It's actually not completely true that John Wayne died from his movie. He also smoked a lot, but yeah, it probably didn't help though. It probably didn't help.
The decision to film in St. George was made by the film's producer, the legendary business magnate Howard Hughes. Hughes is an interesting figure, having been both a record-setting pilot and one of the most successful entrepreneurs of all time. He wielded great political and business power, and came to be an influential member of Hollywood. He financed
With great power comes great cancer. And Scarface, the fuck?
many films, including the original 1931 Scarface, and later came to control RKO Studios, which gave us King Kong and Citizen Kane. Hughes was known to be an eccentric even in his early days, and suffered from OCD. However, later in his life, his eccentricity turned into madness. He became a recluse, not taking care of himself, and rarely being seen in public. While the cause of his decline is impossible to pinpoint, many think that the guilt he felt over The Conqueror was part of it. He spent $12 million buying every copy of the film he could so no one could ever see it, and watched it on repeat over and over again in his personal theater.
Yeah. Is this man naked? But yep. Is this Leonardo DiCaprio? It looks like him. Yep. Yeah, I see it. Poco the actor Lee Van Cleave was in this famous movie for playing the villain in the good, the bad, and the ugly. Got cancer from this, though he died of a heart attack at 64 years old, so at least it wasn't the cancer.
Often sat in his chair naked, watching the film for weeks on end, not bathing or cutting his hair or nails. When he finally died in 1976, he was so
Those aren't shoes. What is that? What is that? Wait a minute. This looks like he wears like those like tissue boxes as shoes. Hold up. Yeah, I bet most people don't know Scarface was a remake of a 30s movie. I didn't know that either. That's interesting.
unrecognizable, the FBI had to use fingerprints to confirm it was him. To be fair to Hughes, he didn't know the area was dangerous. When he went to the Atomic Energy Commission, they told him it was perfectly safe, which is also what they told the residents of.
Oh, so they lied to him. Oh, then it's not his fault. I'm sorry, then it's not his fault. Well, that's not his fault. I don't think we can use that as criticism then. He didn't know.
St. George. However, higher rates of cancer in the area were reported all the way until the 1980s, and Congress would later set up a fund to compensate the victims of the nuclear fallout. When the film debuted, it was a box office bomb, no pun intended. It was met with negative reception, mostly around the casting and a nonsensical story. Wayne would later receive the Golden Turkey Award for his performance, and the film would be included in the 50 worst films of all time. Unlike some of the other films on that list, like Plan 9, there's nothing even funny bad here. Nothing that would bring the film into the so bad it's good category. It's a tragic story, for the characters in the film, for the people who made it, and of course for the people who had to.
And yet, just looking at the film itself, right? Just raw looking at the film, it's still not the worst movie. I'm still undefeated in my opinion that Cuties is the worst movie ever made.
Watch it. But the next time you see a crappy movie and think to yourself this is the worst thing ever, just remember, it can get so much worse.
Well, there's that. That's the end. Interesting. I didn't know that this movie existed. I still don't think it's the worst. I still don't. I still believe that there's a movie out there that's way worse, and I think still that's Cuties, without a shred of a doubt. Sorry, Golden Turkey Award. No, thank you. Well, I think it's probably. I'm assuming that the Golden Turkey Award is probably, an award for bad movies specifically, or like bad actors, or like worst performance in a movie, whatever. I don't think it's a legitimate like award that you can actually brag about. It's just saying Cuties is worse because it was made by a woman. No. I'm saying Cuties is worse because it sexualizes children heavily, and it is for the map kind of audience that we don't like here. Anyways, that's interesting. I did not know that. Of course, by death count alone, this is probably one of the worst movies. Probably. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe.